Hi there, Gulliver's Travels. We have an emergency because of coronavirus, so let's just recap very quickly what we've been working on the past 2 weeks. The first thing we need to remember is that Jonathan Swift worked a lot with the concept of satire. You might remember that from the video done by Professor Osborne when he talked about Jonathan Swift's Modest Proposal, and also Gulliver's Travels is a satire. A satire is a technique. It uses humor, it uses irony, it uses exaggeration, and it uses the concept of ridicule. And to what purpose? Satire means to expose and to criticize the flaws, the weaknesses, either of individuals or of an entire society, which is the case for Gulliver's Travels. And the point is not just to destroy, but to start a certain movement of improvement of what is being satirized. So a writer uses satire by creating fictional characters, for example, Gulliver in Gulliver's Travels, and these fictional characters stand for real people or for real situations. And the point, as we said, is to expose and condemn their corruption, their flaws, their problems. Give a look at the guy who's going to be shown here. Here it is. So why do you think this guy has to do with the concept of satire? Take a few seconds, think about it, and then we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it maybe later or maybe in class. To go back to our passages we read from Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, the first passage was the one entitled The Projectors. You may remember that it was set in the Academy of Lagadou on the floating island of Laputa, and it was about rather absurd projects and rather absurd ideas. Absurd projects like, I don't know, creating nutrients out of human excrements, or absurd ideas like doing without language, totally or partially. What Swift meant to do here was to criticize, so to create a satire of the way reason was used and abused at that time and at his time. So remember that this is the time of the Enlightenment. It's the age of reason, which so much contributed to the development of human thought. In particular, he had something to say against the Royal Society. So many good things about it, but also some sort of exaggeration about the use of reason and forgetting about other things in human life. The next passage we read was called The Smell of a Yahoo. It's taken from the end of Gulliver's Travels. So let's very quickly remember that the Yahoos, which have the who have the shape of humans, are ugly. They are degenerated in intellect, so they're not very intelligent, but maybe they used to be intelligent. They are aggressive, they are instinctive, and as Gulliver says in this passage, they are deformed in body and in mind. Also, they have the flaw of pride, so they are arrogant, they think they are important, and they have no humbleness in them. The humans, the humans look like horses. They are intelligent horses, and they are rational, they are wise, they are fair, meaning that they are both well-balanced and also good-looking. They're also honest, so they have all the qualities that we might look for. Basically, what Swift is showing here is clearly a reversal of roles between animals and humans, implying the idea that being human does not necessarily mean being intelligent. And what's interesting to find out here and to highlight here is the stress of the animality of this family. Gulliver cannot stand their smell, which is exactly the opposite of what we say about animals. And if you think about it, and if you go back and read about all his 4 voyages in the four different places he's traveled through, in all of these situations, there is a continuous change of perspectives. So, for example, in the land of Lilliput, he's a giant, and in the next voyage, he's a small, tiny little human being in comparison to the inhabitants of the place. So think about the way Swift works on the change of perspectives and on the way he satirizes a society. And then we'll move on to draw some conclusions on the novel of the 18th century.